You're live, Emma.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to this licensing subcommittee meeting on Thursday, the 11th of March 2021. My name is Emma Holmes. I'm the Senior Specialist for Legal, and in the absence of a chairman, I'm opening proceedings this morning. Can I now ask any member wishing to nominate to the position of chairman for this meeting to please unmute your microphone and state your name and nomination?
Councillor Stilts, Councillor Durham.
Any member wishing to second that nomination, please unmute your microphone and state your name.
I'll second that. If Mark is happy to do that, I would second that. Thank you.
I am, but somebody's going to have to ping me the chairman's script, please.
That's fine. Members, do you wish to agree this by assent?
Yes.
Yes.
Lovely. Okay, I will hand over to Councillor Durham. Thank you very much.
The script was sent to all members last evening, so just bear with me.
Let me just. Boom, 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 boom. Okay.
Have you got it, councillors?
I'm just opening. Yep, I've got it. Thank you so much.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay, so yes, good morning. Welcome to this licensing subcommittee meeting on today, Thursday, the 11th of March 2021. We are sitting today under the Licensing Act 2003 to hear an application made under the said Act. My name is Councillor Mark Durham and I have just been appointed to chairman for this meeting. This meeting is held under new regulations that came into effect on the 4th of April 2020 in response to the COVID-19 situation. And there are just a few housekeeping issues to run through, please. First of all, could I ask everyone present at this meeting to ensure that your microphone remains muted and your video feed is on, unless you are microphone is muted unless you are addressing the committee. This meeting is being hosted remotely, streamed live and recorded, and by being present in the meeting you are giving your consent to being recorded. Members and officers, during each item, please use the hand up function of the meeting to indicate if you wish to speak. I will then invite you at the appropriate time. Members are reminded that apart from indicating a point of order or that you need to leave the meeting, the chat function should not be used for questions or any other purpose, please. When speaking and referring to the agenda papers, please ensure you reference a page or paragraph number. Now, if I may ask the officers taking part to indicate and introduce themselves, please, and starting with Mr. Geller.
Thank you, Councillor. Damien Geller, Lead Specialist Community Service Delivery.
Thank you very much. Ms. Holmes.
Good morning, Chair. Emma Holmes, Specialist Legal.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure if we have Mr. Winter with us. We still don't, Berna? No. Then
It's Mr. Dermot.
Yeah, Miss Casey.
Good morning, members. Berna Casey, clerk to this morning's committee. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think we have Mr. Dermot.
We have Mr. Dermot and we have Councillor Helm now.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yep. Thank you. Mr. Dermot, could you introduce yourself for the recording, please? I think you're muted, Mr. Dermot.
Apologies.
That's all right.
Thank you. Yes, I'm the lead licensing officer over at Chelmsford, standing in for Dan Winter, who should be presenting this morning, but unable to join us.
Yeah, thank you very much for dropping in at the last minute. Bernard, could you carry out a roll call of members to confirm who is in attendance, please?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I'll call your names in alphabetical order, members. Can you please indicate you're in attendance? Councillor Durham.
I'm here.
Councillor Helm.
Present.
Councillor Mays.
Present, Berna.
Thank you. Councillor Stilts.
Present, Berna.
Thank you, Councillor Stilts. Chairman, may I ask any councillors in attendance to introduce themselves now, please?
No, there appear to be none. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Item 3, absent. Do we have any apart from Mr. Winter, who is suffering with technology?
That's correct, Chairman.
Thank you. Item 4, disclosure of interests. To disclose the existence and nature of any disclosable pecuniary interests, other pecuniary interests, or non-pecuniary interests related to the items of business on the agenda, having regard to paragraphs 6 to 8 inclusive of the Code of Conduct for members. And members, you're also reminded that you are required to disclose any such interests as soon as they become aware, should the need arise throughout the meeting. If any member has an interest to declare, please use the hand up function or indicate physically, and I will invite you to speak. I will start. I have a non-pecuniary interest only as such that I am a personal licence holder with Maldon District Council. Are there any other disclosures of interest? No, thank you very much indeed. Okay, item 5 brings us on to the business in hand today. It is an application for a major variation to a premises licence, that is for Crouch Ridge Vineyard, Fambridge Road, Althorne, Maldon. And the papers can be found on pages on 7 to 38 in your agenda pack. I refer everyone present to the aid memoir found on page 3, which has subsequently been updated for remote meetings. And this details the procedure we will follow for this meeting. Could I firstly ask that everyone has read the officer's report and appendices and the evidence submitted, which was circulated prior to this meeting. Should anyone have any late documentation in support of a representation or the application, this may only be introduced with consent of all parties. Members, can you just confirm, please, that you have read the agenda pack?
Confirmed,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. That's everybody. So members, a reminder that if you wish to speak, please make this known by either using the hands up function or indicate physically within this meeting. I'll then come to you in turn, but please keep your points clear, succinct, and obviously only relevant to the matters being discussed. So now, can I ask any other persons present in this meeting to introduce themselves? Do we have the applicant, Ms. Lonergan, sorry. I hope I pronounced that right, if she's here. Do I take it by the silence that the applicant isn't present, Miss Casey?
She is on the call, Chairman. Ms. Lonergan, could you introduce yourself, please, if everything is working? Because I'm aware the camera may not be working, but the microphone was.
Ms. Lonergan, can you unmute if you're muted, or indicate in some way that you are present, please?
She has her, yes, she's raised her hand, Chairman. She's present.
Okay. Is she able to speak, I wonder? If not, perhaps you could use the chat function to just indicate your current status, because it's possible that we will need to speak to you in due course as the applicant. I'll ask Ms. Casey just to monitor the... Councillor Mays.
Yes, sorry to interrupt, Councillor Durham. Can you actually see me?
I can see you.
Oh, okay. It's just that I've been asked to turn my camera on, and my camera is on.
No, I can see you sitting there in your nice flowery top.
Thank you.
Looking very bright this morning. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't see her.
And neither can I, as the clerk. I can't see Councillor Mays. I can just see her profile.
This is very odd.
Okay. Well, I can see all three members. I can see Mr. Geller and I can see Miss Hughes. So that at the moment I think will suffice. There we go. Thank you very much indeed. So in the absence of Mr. Winter, Mr. Dermot, I wonder if you could now give us a brief outline of this application, please.
I can indeed, sir. Excuse me, just open the file. Yes, Mr. Chairman, the purpose of the report presented before you is to consider an application for a major variation to a current premises licence, reference 19000160 LAPRE, under the Section 34 of the Licensing Act 2003, having regard to representations received and the requirement to promote the 4 licensing objectives. Those objectives are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, the protection of children from harm. It's recommended that the licensing subcommittee determines the application for the variation to the current premises licence, taking into consideration the options that are available at paragraph 4.1 below. A summary of the key issues are that Crouch Ridge Vineyards is a 15-acre vineyard with a wine barn where wine is sold and made from grapes grown from the vineyard itself. The existing licence authorises the sale of alcohol between 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. daily for on and off sales, allowing also consumption on the premises. Due to an increase in wine production and the range of wine on offer, the premises licence holder is looking to expand the business. This includes wine tasting, wine and food pairings, and as a restaurant. The applicant has applied to extend the licence to sell alcohol until 11 p.m. on all days in order to hold evening wine tasting evenings and food and wine pairings. The complete application was received by licensing officers on the 21st of January 2021 for the following licensable activity, and that was for the sale or supply of alcohol between 10 a.m. and 11 p.m. As part of the licensing process, a complete copy of the application was sent out to the responsible authorities for consultation, and that was concluded on the 18th of February this year. The application has been properly made in accordance with the Licensing Act 2003 and all procedures correctly followed. The complete application form is attached as Appendix A to this report. The application was correctly advertised in a locally circulated newspaper within the timescale allocated under legislation on the premises and on Maldon Council's website. Members are asked to note that this report is published publicly. Personal details have been redacted from some of the documents. However, the licensing authority and the applicant have received complete copies of all of these relevant documents. During the course of the consultation period, relevant representations were received from 4 members of the public on the grounds of 3 of the licensing objectives. Copies of those representations that were received are attached to this report as Appendix B. A plan indicating the location of the premises is attached at Appendix C. And a copy of the current premises licence, previously referred to, is attached to this report as Appendix D. In conclusion, members are advised that they have the following options when determining this application. They can either grant the application on the terms and conditions that it's been applied for, grant the application on the terms and conditions applied for, but modified to such an extent as considered appropriate to promote the licensing objectives, or to refuse the application in whole or in part. Members are reminded that the applicant and/or any person making representation in relation to this matter may appeal the decision of the council to the Magistrates' Court. The impact on some of your strategic themes for the council. Following strategic themes underpin the council's vision for the district: enabling and supporting and empowering communities to be safe, active and healthy, protecting and shaping the district and balancing the future needs of the community, meeting the housing needs of the district, and to be an organisation which delivers good quality, cost-effective and valued services in a transparent way. This report supports the council's strategic theme of enabling, supporting and empowering communities to be safe, active and and be healthy. Officers, that can.
I'm not sure. I think Mr. Dermot might have just frozen at the key moment there, but I think he has concluded his presentation. So thank you.
Did you,
Mr.
did you lose me at some point, Councillor?
Lost you towards the end. If you could just complete your statement, that'd be useful for everybody. Frozen again. Okay, not to worry. I think members, are you happy to accept what Mr. Dermot has just said? I think we only just missed it
Yes.
the last couple of
Yes.
minutes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Dermot. Bernard, now, do we have a representative from the applicant present able to speak? Do we know?
I'm back again.
Okay. Thank you. I think we got the gist, Mr. Dermot. I think we just lost your concluding sentence.
Oh, you didn't miss much then, sir. Thank you.
Okay. No, that's very good. Thank you very much for your contribution. We're struggling, I think, to get the applicant.
No, Chairman, Sam Lonergan is on the call. I wonder, could she indicate, or her representative, that they can hear us and that their microphone is working?
We can hear you clearly. Can you hear us?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you very
Right.
much indeed. So thank you. I was just trying to work out how we were going to progress without being able to hear from you, sir. Would you like to make your opening statement? I assume that's Mr. Lonergan. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. Sorry. Good morning. My name is
Morning.
Mr. Lonergan from Crouchridge Vineyard.
Mm.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Today we are looking to extend the hours of our premises licence at Crouchridge Vineyard from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. We take the 4 criteria we meet to meet the premises licence extremely seriously, as it is our reputation at the vineyard for Crouch Valley wine region, the Dengie and Maldon area. We feel that we are ambassadors for the area and we want our reputation to go before us as good employers, good neighbours and a good experience for our customers. We are all about promoting experiences and education. We have demonstrated compliance with the 4 licensing laws for the past 2 years under our current premises licence and temporary licences for extended hours. We come before you today as it has become apparent to us that whilst we understand the issues raised by the complainants, that there is a demand for wine activities after 6 p.m. Currently, we apply for temporary event licences for events and tours after 6 p.m. However, the demand for more evening events will not be covered by these limited temporary licences. In the last 12 months, we've had to postpone 15 events due to COVID and have had to push them back into 2021, which would mean no new activities for the rest of the year. Part of our business is to educate people, and some of our most popular events are vineyard tours, wine tastings and wine pairings with food. We have described the steps we have been carrying out to promote the 4 licensing objectives in our application, and we hope that we have demonstrated and will continue to carry out compliance to public safety, public nuisance, prevent crime and disorder, and protect children from harm. Last year, we carried out vineyard tours and wine tastings every Saturday between the main lockdown and the second lockdown. These tours proved very popular, but people and groups requested that, particularly in the summer, whether these vineyard tours could take place in the evening after work. We attract people who are looking for an experience and want to look to relax and enjoy the environment. They are not looking for a nightclub experience. The noise and disturbance is kept to a minimum. When we've had late licenses in the past, we've always tried to ensure that the staff and customers' safety is met. And whilst we're selling alcohol, we are trying to encourage people to be sensible. We have a challenge 25 in the barn, and we train our staff to ensure this is carried out. When we have a late events under the temporary licenses, we have signs out to ask customers to leave quietly. Thank you for listening. We hope you grant our application to extend Crouchridge Vineyard licence to extend our hours to sell alcohol to 11 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lonergan. Mr. Lonergan, thank you for your submission. Would you like to call any other witnesses on behalf of your application support, please?
No.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. So if there are no responsible representatives from the responsible authorities, I notice there's nobody from the police. Do we have an objector? Oh, Councillor Mays, you're indicating.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could Mr. Lonergan just repeat how many temporary licences he's had in the last 24 months, please? I missed the number.
I don't think he gave a number because I've just jotted that down to ask myself. So.
Oh right, okay. Beg your pardon. I thought I'd missed it.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, we applied for 15. We actually, in the last 24 months, we probably only had about because we had some the previous year. It's 24 months last 2 years. Sorry, we're just working it out. I apologise.
Probably about 6 then.
Six or seven.
Okay.
Because we had to cancel them due to COVID and lockdown, so we were shut. So that meant that we couldn't carry out our late licences.
Okay.
Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you.
Thank you, Councillor Mays. So, do we have Mr. Souter? I assume that's how he.
No, you don't. It's Souter. Good morning. No, that's right. No apologies necessary. So yeah, good morning, Councillor, and good morning, Chair. I'd just like to call out, I know it's probably wrong to do so, but the committee clerk, Mrs. Casey, Mr. Geller and Mr. Winter have been extremely helpful in answering my questions over the past couple of weeks. So I'd like to extend my thanks to them for all their help thus far. It's a shame Mr. Winter's not on the call. My name's Stuart Souter. I'm a resident of Fambridge Road in Althorne, very close to the Vineyard. I live very close to the Vineyard where the application is being discussed today, and I've lived here for almost 40 years. I would like to strongly object to the extension of this licence for the following reasons. The protection of children from harm. I'm already concerned with the increased traffic activity entering and leaving the parking area of the barn. It's an extremely dangerous stretch of road, and many families, many with young children and quite an elderly population are in nearby residents. Furthermore, with this proposed late opening, children's established sleep patterns would be affected. And for those of you with children, you will know that they need to be rested and ready for school now that they're back at school. Public safety, members of the council committee will be, I hope, aware that the section of the main road onto which vehicles emerge from the car park of the barn is one already beset by problems of horrific sightlines. Additional traffic late at night would not only add to these problems, but also the welfare and well-being of the residents along Fambridge Road. Prevention of public nuisance. To reiterate, I am concerned about the detrimental increase of noise and also the issue of road safety, both of which I believe were upheld as valid concerns when the applicants were considering opening a bistro nearby, which has now morphed into the Vineyard. So to conclude, any extension of hours would be, I feel, inappropriate in this locality, a residential area where family life should be classed as important. To grant this application would, I feel, not be in line with the licensing objectives, and for that reason, I would ask for it to be rejected. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Souter. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, Mr. Lonergan, you can make a closing statement before members get the opportunity to ask questions. Have you got anything further you'd like to add after hearing from Mr. Souter?
Yes. Well, I have prepared a speech. Is that okay just to read it? Or
of course, so yes. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. This meeting is to discuss our variation to our current premises licence, and this meeting has been triggered again by the same small numbers of Hawthorne residents who have placed objections against our applications without proof, not the responsible authorities which deal with these issues on a daily basis. Most of these residents' arguments are not relevant to this premises licence application. We train all our staff, and as owners of Crouchridge Vineyard, we take all 4 criteria very seriously. We appreciate that we are not a pub or a nightclub that sell alcohol. We are a vineyard who sell wine and experiences from our cellar door in a rural location, and I repeat, a rural location. We are not just promoting our Crouchridge brand, but we're also the new Crouchridge wine region, Dengie and Maldon districts. So it is in our interest that we prove that we are ambassadors for this area. We do not want a bad reputation. We want people to come and experience a unique product that is grown and made in this area, and is something that we should be promoted in a positive way. With this in mind, we feel that to maximise this, we need to extend our hours so we can accommodate more groups such as Women's Institute, Rotary and various wine groups and residents of Hawthorne to our vineyard who have requested tours and tastings or wine experiences after 6 p.m. We feel that we've met the 4 criteria that have been examined, and so to qualify for the extension of this premises licence. Thank you for your time this morning. We hope you grant our application to extend Crouchridge Vineyard's premises licence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lonergan. Members, I'm now going to open the floor to you to ask either party or indeed Mr. Dermott any questions. I'd like to start myself, if that's all right, Chairman's prerogative. Mr. Lonergan, previously you said you've applied for temporary event notices to extend your licensing hours. Could you just tell me the nature of the functions that these these temporary event notices were for, please?
So it's actually Samantha Lonergan answering this question, if that's okay with you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
We have applied twice a month for, well, not every month, but when we could, for tasting evenings, pairing with local food. So we've used local chefs, including Dan Hull, who is at Dan Hull's farm shop. We also have a local chef, Anthony, from Southminster, who comes along with his beautiful local food, and we pair it with wine. We've also had late licenses for groups, as Ross has mentioned, WI, Rotary, wine clubs. They usually meet in the evening, Monday to Friday, and so they obviously would like to come along at their usual time of meeting and have a wine tasting, talk about the local wine. In the summer, they go on a wine tour around the vineyard. So they are the types of groups that want to come in the evenings.
Okay, thank you. Another couple of questions. As well as the wine, do you have a bar that sells a full range of alcoholic drinks?
So the range that we have in the barn is our wine. We also have our local gin that we've just launched this year from the Eau de Vie from the grapes at the vineyard. We have local beers, and we do have soft drinks.
Okay, thank you. In some of the representations, discos have been mentioned. Have you had? I mean, you concentrated very much on your wine tasting. I don't know if you have a civil wedding license. I haven't managed to look at that. But
no, we don't.
Do you hold other functions apart from just these wine tasting? Because in the past, we've had the local choral society come and sing. Obviously, we're not allowed to do that at the moment. We have an open day once a year where we would have a local band that would come and play at the vineyard. That is now like an annual event. Obviously, we had to cancel that again last year. So no discos, no. Local band, yes, and local choral society. That's what we've had at the vineyard. Okay, thank you very much indeed. And can I just ask Ms. Holmes or Mr. Dermott, are we aware that have there been any complaints about this premises in the last 24 months, please?
Mr. Chair, Nigel Dermott again. I can confirm that we certainly have got no complaints recorded our end.
And I can see Mr. Geller shaking your head. If you could just let me know verbally, Mr. Geller, if environmental health have been notified of any issues.
Of course, yes, nothing recorded in our systems. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Members, over to you. I can see you all preparing. Who's going to be first off out of the blocks? Councillor Helm, okay, you won the race of the hands.
With a wavy hand as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is on a very busy road, naturally, because a lot of traffic goes through there during the daytime to the various building sites in Burnham. And then the weekends we get the motorbike people come in, and highways have not offered a rejection to their original planning application, I believe. So it's general traffic that's going past all the time, and quite a lot of it. But the impact from the winery will be very, very small. Thank you.
Thank you. More of a statement than a question, Councillor Helm. I don't know if you've got anything to
No, that's fine.
A specific question to ask either the Mr. Sauter or the applicant. No, I take it that you don't. So I didn't see who was next, but I will go with Councillor Mays first, out of alphabetical reasons, if nothing else.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, one of the, I don't know whether through you, Mr. Geller, can help us with any accidents and what accidents have occurred within this sort of stretch of road leading into the village proper, because it is cited as being a possible black spot. But obviously, if it is cited as being a possible black spot, there will be some evidence of some sort of accidents. I know the last 24 months is difficult because, you know, for the last 12, we've been in pretty much lockdown.
Mr. Geller, do you have any information?
No, unfortunately, we wouldn't have that information. Possibly the police might, or Essex Highways, but in terms of road traffic accidents connected to those premises, we wouldn't have that. Apologies.
So that's actually something that we can't really address at the moment. I've got probably three questions, Mr. Chairman, if that's
go ahead,
okay.
please. Yeah.
Is the building itself, is that the extent of the license, either the bit that has the red line round it, and is the building noise proof?
Mr. Lonergan, could you answer that question, please? Or Sam, either one of the applicants.
Sorry, I haven't actually got access to a drawing, so I can't remember what the drawing is at the moment. It is just the building, is it? Okay, so so that's what we're going for.
And that will remain as so, will it?
Yeah.
Yes. The second point is soundproof. Well, the barn has an insulated roof and insulated all the walls apart from the entrance and exit, which are window glass. All the walls are kind of boarded with Kingspan insulation and they have a Tyvek sheeting in it, then plasterboarded inside. So it's reasonably well insulated. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much with that. There was also a question of increased litter, particularly along the verges. How do you propose on actually dealing with that? That is beyond the actual boundary of the land that the actual barn sits on. So the verges either side of the entrance that may become more highly littered, or that is the allegation.
That's the allegation.
Well, we do look after our area. I mean, we pride ourselves because people come to our vineyard. The last thing we want to do is for people to come along and see a whole load of litter. So we do systematically do our boundary. For the further than our boundary, I can't really say, but we definitely do, you know, a weekly, if not more, clear up. And it's not as though, because when people come to our vineyard, they have their wine tasting in proper tasting glasses. It's not plastic.
Yeah.
And so
I'm just trying to establish
that gets washed up. So you know, the last thing I want is litter all around our beautiful vineyard.
We do. I kind of maintain the outside of the vineyard, and if there is a lot of cans and rubbish thrown out from from vehicles passing by, normally it's not from our vineyard.
And we do clear that up.
Okay. Yeah. No. Thank you for that. I see from the plans that there is I think is it Crouch Valley Meadow Memorial burial ground. It's a burial ground. Has this been integrated into your plans, perhaps to do wakes and those sorts of events that might be either, you know, outside the hours, or would they all be within the current hours that you're looking at, that you already have?
So yes, we do own Crouch Valley Meadow, which is open to the public from 10 till 5. We have been asked, and that is the lovely thing about having the wine barn now, is that people that visit Crouch Valley Meadow can pop up for a cup of coffee or a glass of wine. We have been asked for wakes, and we have had wakes, but they're all daytime. They're well within our 10 till 6. So
thank you. That's all my questions for the moment, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Councillor Stilts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I must admit, Councillor Mays has asked a lot of the questions I was going to ask. But going on from that, I mean, you've said that you won't have discos and things. Are you planning those in the future, or loud music? And the other question I've got is that it says here that the entrance to and from your valley is dark at night. Have you got any thoughts of addressing the entrance and exit of that onto the main road?
Mr. Lonergan?
Sorry, so the entrance off Fambridge Road into Crouchridge Vineyard, that's the one you're talking about, not Crouch Valley Meadow, yes?
Yes.
Yes. So at the moment, we do not have any lighting. We have at that entrance, but that is a planning issue.
Okay, thank you.
That's, yeah, correct. Thank you. Mr. Dermot, you're indicating.
Thank you, Chair. It relates to a matter raised just a little while ago. I'm sure that your legal will concur, but could I just highlight that planning matters are not relevant for licensing applications, and that traffic and highways issues are not, by case stated, are not considered relevant under the licensing objectives?
Yeah, I'm aware. I was going to point that out as well, but thank you very much indeed. Thank you. I'm looking at the Google Earth, which shows the vineyard surrounded by the barn in question, surrounded pretty much by a lot of vine planting, and I can see the nearest property in line of sight is, according to this, is 145 metres away. That there is a farmer just to the east. Is that also your property?
Yes, it is.
It is, okay, because there's an accumulation of other buildings there and a dwelling house. I assume that's your dwelling house, is it?
It's my father's dwelling house, and the other properties are the self-catering holiday accommodation that my family and I own. Okay,
so the nearest domestic dwellings not in your ownership are the ones immediately the other side of the road, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much indeed. Members, we've had a statement from the applicant, and we've heard from the objector, and as has been pointed out by Mr. Dermot, although traffic matters are generally a concern, clearly they are not impacting directly on this, as they don't come under the auspices of the Licensing Act. Do you have any further questions you wish to ask any party, please?
No.
No. Ms. Holmes, from a legal point of view, do you wish to add anything for the benefit of members before we withdraw to discuss the application?
No, Councillor Durham, I think you've covered all the points in relation to planning and highways, but I would agree with those points that they're not relevant considerations for the licensing hearing.
Thank you very much indeed. Councillor Helm, were you about to try and say something? Sorry.
No, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Right. Okay, so if members are happy that they have had all the information that they require to make their deliberations, could you just indicate, just wave or do a thumbs up, just so that I know before I close that meeting? Yeah, we seem to have.
Happy, thank you.
Seem to have accord.
Chairman, I just wondered if the objector wanted to make a closing statement, because they made their opening statement under 6, but they have an opportunity under 9 on the procedure to make a closing statement.
Yeah, yes, apologies, Mr. Sauter. Yes, you're perfectly at liberty to make a closing statement.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Thanks for not forgetting about me. I mean, in terms of you've mentioned that it's not relevant, but I mean, I can confirm as a resident of Fambridge Road, of which I believe the applicants are not, that there have been many accidents along this course of road over the past 24 months. And again to the applicant's point with regards to local residents being the ones that a small minority, the reason they're objecting is because they are the ones that are impacted by it. Not being a resident yourself, again, I think that's entirely relevant. In terms of use of the barn, can I put it to the applicant that a reality show, I believe, was partly filmed at the Vineyard, and is this going to be an extension of the licence that we will expect to see more instances of this? Thanks.
Again, I hate to say it, Mr. Souter, but we can't look at what ifs in the future. I'm afraid that is not relevant to the matter in hand.
Okay, but I regret, yeah. Okay, sure. But the use of the Vineyard, I think it was mentioned that it was going to be for Rotary and WI meetings, etc. As I said, I'm pretty sure there's a reality show that's been filmed within the Vineyard locally. So I mean, there seems to be a disconnect between what the applicants are saying it's going to be used for and what it's actually.
Sorry, Mr. Souter. The filming of a TV show, reality or otherwise, isn't classed as a licensable activity. So it could take place without any impact on any license. It could take place in your back garden or at any premises. That it is, as I said, there are specific licensable activities, and I'm afraid the filming is not one. The showing of films is, but the actual hosting a film is not. So have you got anything else you would like to add, Mr. Souter?
No, not at this stage, no.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Ms. Casey, are you content that we've extinguished all of our necessary discussion?
Yes, Chairman, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. So the meeting will now close and the members are going to meet privately to discuss the representations, and we will make our decision shortly, and all parties will be notified of the decision within 5 working days of this hearing. There is a right of appeal against a decision which will be heard by Magistrates Court. So item 11 to close this meeting. Thank you very much for all of your contributions this morning. And I now draw this meeting closed at 11:14. Thank you very much indeed. Members, can I advise you not to enter into any further discussions at this meeting, and we will leave this meeting and rejoin the decision. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. See you in a moment.